Hey Gen Chem Nation, if you're watching this video, then you have signed up for general chemistry here at the University of Vermont, and I am your instructor, Eric Ruggles. So here, just a quick little video to help you get started with our course, basically by just exploring BlackBoard, showing the little ins and outs for access to all the information as we go throughout our semester. I'll have more of an introduction as far as my personal hobbies and things of that within the discussion board, which we'll talk about in a little bit as we go. That's kind of the next stage or the next step. But first, let's just look at getting started, and I'm going to switch screens now so we can look at BlackBoard.
So in getting started, once we get into Blackboard, you're always brought out into the announcement page. And right now we don't have any announcements, in terms of me making this video. But this is where you're always directed, and we see a lot of announcements here. What's really important is the top left navigation pane, which in this particular version is hidden sometimes. So we see this left bar with a little bit of an arrow there, and we can click it, and there comes out that navigation bar. So just to make sure that we're aware that sometimes that bar is actually hidden because of the programming, that we can hit that arrow and we can expand it. And what's really important is really that top left navigation pane with getting started, announcements, syllabus, assignments, mastery chemistry, etc. 1 through 6 there, and we're in the getting started page, which would be right here. And so what I want to do in this video is just to help us navigate Blackboard and realizing everything that's actually out there. We have announcements, we have the syllabus, which is a super important document. Assignments, of course, we're doing that throughout this semester. Mastering Chemistry, where we have quizzes as well. If you choose to do your online homework, we can do it there as well. Course materials, which I bring a lot to the table with. And then lastly, discussion boards, exams. And then finally, where do we go next after we have this kind of intro? So the first thing to do is to realize that, okay, announcements is normally what I'm getting logged into, and I can see that right away. Also, you'll be getting emails of these announcements as well. Easy enough to forget about the emails, easy enough to file them away, but these are really important. I make a lot of announcements with regards to homework assignments, quizzes, exams, lots of pertinent information as far as this class is concerned. So that's what you're going to find within announcements. And again, like I said, you're going to be getting emails of these announcements as well. So don't disregard them. Let's then go to step 1 or point 1, which is the syllabus. And so we can do that by clicking that top left navigation link. And so here is our syllabus. And what I've done is actually blown it apart, meaning that at the very top you see the full syllabus, and then that full syllabus is full of different pieces, part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, etc. And so what I've done is broken out all those sections as well as different files. So you can go to the full syllabus and have access to all the information. Or if you're looking for a specific type of information, you might be able to then use these links to then go directly to the lecture schedule, go directly to accommodations, etc. So there will be another video detailing going through the syllabus, but for right now, just showing you, how to access it using Blackboard. So that's the syllabus link. We now go down to step 2, which is assignments. Now, throughout the semester, you're going to be given assignments, and these will be done over announcement links and letting you know where we're at. each module that we have here is basically a chapter. We start with the syllabus module, and that's where we're going to go into, looking at the syllabus a little bit more. But as far as the class goes, right, we start with chapter 13, chapter 14, then chapter 15, and that's what these modules are representing. Module 13 is chapter 13. And if we click one of these links, I'm going to click the chapter 13 link. We find, we have the learning objectives, but this is how it's broken down in the sense that we have an assignment. We have, I always like to throw music into the assignments, so we have some music videos, and then we have lecture content. Part 1 would be lecture 1 of module 13, and then we have, assignments that need to be accomplished or attempted so that our learning is reinforced from the actual lecture. And we also have help as well, which is in the purple. I'll go through the assignment idea in a lot more detail in a subsequent video. That's actually what's coming next. But each chapter is basically an assignment. And so as we go through the semester, we'll go from chapter 13 to 14 to 15 to 16, etc., etc. And so all of these are available to you. If someone wants to work ahead, they are more than welcome to actually work ahead, depending on their schedule and things that they need to get done. So that is assignments. Mastering chemistry is number 3. And mastering chemistry is where we have basically another platform. So our textbook is also linked within this mastering chemistry platform. So as a student, you have the ability to do your homework assignments if you prefer the textbook and to look into the textbook homework problems that I assign. That's fine. If you're more of an online person and you want to use mastering chemistry to do those assignments, that's fine as well. Please understand that they're very much the same. That mastering chemistry and our textbook are pretty much linked together, and the problems that are assigned are pretty much continuous between either the textbook or the online program. Sometimes the online program has it a little bit differently structured, meaning you might see more multiple choice questions, but you still need to do calculations to figure out, the actual answer, as opposed to the textbook where you don't find many multiple choice questions. It's really just here is a question. Now please answer it. What I choose to go through is the MyLab Mastering Chemistry Home. And if we click through there, we enter into the Mastering Chemistry platform. And so here's our Mastering Chemistry platform. If you look on the left, again, we have a left navigation pane. And what I would focus in on here are really assignments. So with the assignments, if it loads up here, there we go. There's already a bunch of stuff that's already open. So what I've done is opened up all the chapters that we'll be discussing this semester. So basically, this is really opening up the textbook if you're the online person, right? So if you like the online angle, you do have access to all of the problems that are at the end of the chapter in the normal textbook. And there's also the e-text here if you want to access that as well. So it just just depends on your platform. So the problems that I assign within homework assignments can be done either by using these links, or by using the textbook. Notice that in these links we see two kind of ones. If you start to really look at it, For each chapter, you'll notice there's a self-assessment, and then there's also end of chapter questions. And if you look in your textbook, you'll find exactly the same thing. At the end of every chapter, there's a self-assessment as well as end of chapter questions. So this is really a mirror image of the textbook, and it's really just up to you how you want to apply yourself, whether that be more online or whether that be more with the tactile. These due dates here are really stretched out. Notice they're going out to 2023. All of this is practice. All of this is practice, and we'll get more into that idea of practice and grading once we get into the syllabus. But here is our first look at mastering chemistry. There will also be quizzes. Notice that these are down here at the bottom. They're not available because we'll do this as we go throughout the semester. So once we're done with a chapter, then there will be a homework quiz. Then there will be an announcement regarding that. So that's mastering chemistry. Now we go into number 4, or course materials. Course materials, we actually have a lot of folders here. So the top folder that we find in course materials is lecture notes. So, throughout these assignments that I give you, I present lecture material in a video format. Me talking and writing and doing problems, doing little demo videos, etc. I guess you could say, like the script to that is in the lecture notes. So in these lecture notes, I basically have every chapter that we're going to be covering and my notes that I use. And so you can use this as a resource to help, supplement the assignments. Some people feel that they're more video inclined, other people a little bit more, I guess reading inclined. So here's why I have rather all of our chapters, my lecture notes that I use to create the actual lecture videos. So that's the first part of course materials, those lecture notes. Class notes is actually empty right now, but basically in our classroom time, I will be also videoing our classroom interaction for students to look at later if they need to. But also I will be posting PDF documents of basically the script, much like the lecture notes, but this is really the in-class experience. So class notes will be detailing, questions that were asked, my responses to those. Maybe those are concept driven, maybe they're homework problem driven. And so we can look at those as a resource as well. The solution manual is the next folder. Basically, we have the solution manual here present by chapter. All the odds are presented within these solution manual chapter versions, and the ones that I assign are also odd problems. So realize that you do have the ability to use a solution manual to help your understanding of how a problem was solved. Obviously, we don't want to rely on the solution manual, but sometimes this is a necessary resource for us to facilitate that learning process. So here is the solution manual. To try to also help in our understanding of general chemistry, I've created a lot of homework problem videos, and that's the next folder. And so basically what we have is a spread out of chapters here in different folders, and we can enter one of them, let's say chapter 14, and we can find basically a problem associated with that particular chapter. With each one of these, there's an actual link, and that'll take you to a video.
This is number 68 in chapter 13. Per mole.
So as you can see, that takes you right to a question that is relevant to our homework within that chapter, and it's another angle of help. So you want to look at these videos for certain specific problems to really help you with the understanding of that particular concept, um, and how that connects mathematically. So there's our homework problem videos. Not only do we have those homework problem videos, in normal standards, meaning, you can hear my audio and whatever. If you don't like if you don't like the way I talk or whatever, that's fine. There's also closed caption. So all the videos that we have in homework videos are also presented in the closed caption or CC version if you just prefer to actually read the text. The next two links would be exams, old exams. I mean, granted, it is 2021, but these are old exams from 2018 and 2019. Since our online changeover, with the recent turn of events, the exams that we will be doing will all be on Blackboard, but these are old exams that were used to be given in classroom. So these are great practice to like really make sure that you're up to par and going into the exam, but also realize that there will be a slightly different format to our exams compared to these blank exams. Not only do I do the blank exams, but I also give you the exam keys. So those are the next two folders. Um, so it's easy to look at the key, but the problem with this class is the applied mathematics. You have to really understand how to apply the math. So I think, using the blank exams as your testing ground is good, and then you have the keys to try to help reinforce what you missed, in going forward, right, into having really good understanding. Also, not only do we have practice exams, we also have SI problem sets, and I'm not sure if we're going to have an SI leader this semester. So what I've done already is posted SI sessions from last year. Or I'm sorry, 2 years ago. I did not have one last year. And so these are just extra problems, extra practice problems to do. Again, it's kind of one of those things, practice makes perfect with our homework assignments, with our practice exams, which are SI sessions. And so here we have all the sessions for a semester as well as their keys. As we go through the semester, I will make sure that I am directing you as far as the SI sessions and the problems that are relevant to us as we go forward. So now we've gone through all the blue folders, and now we're into just some documents at the bottom. Steps to Success in Chem32. This is a great document to read. It actually just kind of goes through what I think is a good way to help you in your studying, in your practicing, in your preparation, et cetera, et cetera. Some other documents, we have the periodic table, we have a nomenclature chart. You might remember that from last semester, as well as forces of attraction. That's actually where we left off last semester with forces of attraction. So that's going to be very important in starting our beginning, right? Our beginning 432 is realizing that, okay, where were we at? And we were talking about, electrostatic forces, dispersion forces, dipole-dipole, hydrogen bonding, network covalent, etc. So these are some summary documents there, as well as the periodic table. So a lot of information that I tried to provide to you all, just trying to make sure that everyone is represented here, meaning that you might find certain things work for you better than others. So this isn't a prerequisite to go through all of this material, but also just realizing that, okay, here is what you have to utilize, and whatever works best. That could be one piece, that could be multiple pieces, and to help us then really get a good understanding of the second half of general chemistry. So that is course materials. Number 5, back to the left navigation pane, would be the discussion board. And the discussion board is something I utilize. I mean, obviously students have the ability to email me. They have the ability to message me on Teams. And here's another angle, which is a discussion board. So here I basically have just a number of threads already created for specific questions. For instance, the first one is fall introductions. Wait a minute. That should say spring introduction. Oh, there it is now. Okay. So spring introductions. I've already posted an introduction for myself. But questions just kind of driven by specifics, like if we have a pre-semester question, or good news, meaning I'm doing something good, or bad news, I'm doing something not so good, and I could maybe do it better. Suggestions would be nice if I can do things better. Lab issues, and then just through every chapter, if you have a specific chapter question, you can post it here, and then I will answer it. So as we can see here within spring introductions, here is my kind of introduction just to you all. You can reply to it, all right, and it's just basically a way for you to kind of hear about what I like to do, not just chemistry, So these discussion boards can be a way to way for us to make new connections, even though we're in an online environment. So use those forums. I'm always checking the forums, and I'm replying to everyone as fast as I possibly can. So that is the discussion board idea. And then the last bit for our getting started is exams. And so number 6, if we look at the top left navigation pane. Right now, there's nothing in exams because we're just starting off the semester. But as we go, once an exam is coming our way, we can use this link to then access the exam during our normal exam period. We can find those exam times, exam dates on the syllabus, and that's where we'll be going with that module syllabus. So look to that as far as the ins and outs of the actual course. So getting back to getting started, we've run through all these different pieces, from announcements to the syllabus, assignments, mastering chemistry, course materials, discussion boards, and exams. And so what's next? Well, I posted a video about myself in the discussion board. Maybe you can do the same, or maybe a photo, or maybe just some text, just a way to introduce yourself. Maybe a picture of some pets that you have, or something of that nature, something that you like to do. And then we move on to ebb and flow. And so ebb and flow is now the next lecture portion or video portion that we will get into. So now that we're done with this session of getting started, part 1, if you will, now hit to part 2, which is the ebb and flow.
That's all I have for right now. Again, getting started, check out all the different pieces of that left navigation page with syllabus, course materials, and start to interact with the discussion board as far as maybe some introductions or questions, what have you. I will be talking to you soon.